A very good afternoon to you and welcome to this edition of Lunchtime News. I'm Katrina Chang. Let's take a look at your headlines. Accepting of nominations for the Uva Provincial Council election conclude. The Office of the Election Commissioner bans parades and processions by political parties. A protest organised by self-employees in Colombo. An area residents in the Ratmale village in Minne severely inconvenienced due to improper disposal of garbage. And on international news, a death toll in China, earthquake near 600. Now on to those stories in detail. Accepting of nominations for the Uva Provincial Council election conclude at noon today. The UPFA handed in their nominations today at the Badula District Secretary's office. The nominations were presented by UPFA General Secretary Susil Premajanta. Two independent groups also submitted their nominations today. According to the Deputy Election Commissioner, the accepting of postal voting applications also concluded at noon today. On a related note, Badula District Secretary Kirti Disanayake notes that the public will be informed about the accepted nomination list for the Uva Provincial Council poll through a media briefing that is due to be held at 2 p.m. today. He went on to note that rallies and celebrations being held in the district have been limited while security has been beefed up.
By 2 p.m. today, we will be announcing the list of accepted and rejected nominations. As students are sitting for the advanced level examination, a decision was reached to ban all forms of celebrations, which includes parades and processions by political parties. The decision was reached jointly by the Elections Commissioner, Assistant Elections Commissioner and the police.
වල පොලිස් මොරකාවල් තර කරලා තියෙන නීතිමය විධිවිධාන උල්ලංඝනය කළොත් නීතිමය පියවර ගැනීමට කනගාටු වෙනවා සිදු වෙනවා.
Now, the Federation of Self-Employees staged a protest in Colombo today. The demonstration was held opposite the Self-Employees Centre in Petta. The demonstrators requested a number of demands, including the approval to put up stores along roads and establishing three-wheeler stops in the area. The protesters engaged in a march and arrived opposite the Fort railway station. Vehicular movement was disrupted as a result of the protest. Area residents in the Ratmale village in Min area charged that many health and environmental issues have arisen due to the disposal of garbage belonging to the Hinguragoda Pradeshya Sabha in the Kaudula Reserve in close proximity to the Ratmale village in Min area. Area residents charged that the garbage is also attracting wild elephants to the area.
A recycling plant was established at the Hingurangoda Pradeshya Sabha several years ago. The garbage recycling plant was removed from the area recently. However, garbage being collected continues to be dumped at this location. Area residents in the Ratmale village said that the dumping of garbage has led to health concerns as well as environmental issues.
With you 24 hours a day. Verified, unbiased, balanced, fearless. www.newsfirst.lk. Best Web.lk Awards 2014. Silver Award, Best Media Website. Bronze Award, Best Tamil Website. We thank our loyal viewers for continuing to place your trust in us.
Your life, our news.
Now on to other local news. President Mahinda Rajapaksa engaged in an observation tour of the Kimbul Valley area where paddy lands were cultivated using carbonic fertilizer. President Mahinda Rajapaksa inspected the Kimbul Valley model farmland in the Sri Jawardhanapura Court area yesterday. A number of varieties of paddy have been cultivated on this farmland, which spans across 65 acres. The President was greeted by the farming community in the area. The president, who engaged in a cordial discussion with the farmers, was also presented with part of their harvest. The fishermen in the Sisilasa village have been inconvenienced due to the construction of a man-made island in close proximity to the Hambantota harbour.
Around 80 fishermen have been engaging in fishing activities over the past 30 years to the fisheries harbour in the Sisilasa village. However, due to the construction of a man-made island, fishermen have been unable to set out to sea due to the intensity of the tide. According to our correspondent in the area, the fishermen protested against efforts by Port Authority officials to construct a breakwater across the fisheries harbour. Subsequently, the chairman of the Hambantota Pradesh Sabha, Kamini Karunaratne, arrived at the location. As fishermen, they have no other means of income but to engage in fishing. These fishermen engaged in their profession at the Mirijawala Fisheries Harbour prior to the construction of this harbour. In the meantime, the Ports Authority made a request from us to remove the fishermen from the location. We have made the necessary arrangements to ensure that these fishermen have the proper facilities needed to carry out their activities after discussions with the Ministry of Fisheries and the relevant officials.
Today marks Day 5 of the Colombo Centenary International Scout Jamboree that got underway at the Vibro campsite in Madampe.
The Colombo Centenary International Scout Jamboree, organized to commemorate 100 years of scouting of the Colombo District Scouts, commenced under the theme Ayubowan. Many activities took place at the Jamboree this morning. Newsfirst sponsored Colombo Centenary International Scout Jamboree, and it is due to conclude tomorrow.
And on headline making news, officials say almost 600 people are now known to have died in the earthquake that hit Yunnan province on Sunday. The 6.1 magnitude quake struck a mountainous area, destroying thousands of houses and triggering landslides. A total of 589 people were killed and 9 were missing. More than 2,400 people were hurt. Several roads have been blocked and there are concerns about barrier lakes formed. Welcome back to the news. The U.S. military has paid tribute to Major General Harold Green, shot dead by an Afghan soldier in an inside attack on Tuesday, as a true hero. Gen Green, the most senior U.S. soldier killed in action overseas since Vietnam, was shot dead as he visited a UK-run military training facility. Afghan President Hamid Karzai said the shooting was a quote-unquote cowardly attack. Officials said the Afghan soldier who opened fire in the insider attack had been shot dead. Insider attacks have become one of the defining features of the later phase of the conflict in Afghanistan. They have hampered efforts to train the country's 350,000 strong security forces as they prepare to take on the Taliban once most US and NATO forces depart. Tuesday's attack is the most high profile. Along with Gen Green, at least 15 other soldiers were injured. 2 British, several Americans and generals from Germany and Afghanistan were among the wounded. And on to other international news. Now, according to Holt Security, a U.S. firm specializing in discovering breaches, a Russian group has hacked 1.2 billion usernames and passwords belonging to more than 500 million email addresses. Holt Security described the hack as the quote-unquote largest data breach known to date. It claimed the stolen information came from more than 420,000 websites, including many leaders in virtually all industries across the world. Holt Security did not give details of the companies affected by the hack. The New York Times, which first reported the findings, said that on its request, quote, a security expert not affiliated with Holt Security analyzed the database on stolen credentials and confirmed it was authentic, unquote. The paper added, quote, Holt Security would not name the victims, citing non-disclosure agreements and a reluctance to name companies whose sites remain vulnerable, unquote. Starting off with some cricket news, Sri Lanka were in total control at lunch on the opening day of the first test against Pakistan at Galle today. After a wet outfield delay the start of play by 30 minutes, Misbah-ul-Haq claimed it was a difficult decision in choosing to bat after he had won the toss. Sri Lankan skipper Angelo Matthews said he would have done the same. However, he's certain now to be the happier of the two captains going into the lunch break. Dhammika Prasad knocked back Ahmad Shahzad's middle stump in the second over of the day. He returned 4 overs later to trap Khurram Manzoor leg before wicket. Azali and Yunis Khan then put on 37 for the third wicket before Rangan Herwa joined the party, bowling a perfectly flighted delivery to knock off Ali's off tail. It could have been worse for Pakistan if not for a review which saved Yunis Khan from being given out caught behind. Pakistan eventually made it a lunch on 59-3. And on to other sports news, the whole Real Madrid squad trained for the first in Madrid after their training camp in the United States.
The arrival of Navas has created something of a headache for Real coach Carlo Ancelotti, who is now spoiled for choice for keepers with 3 top-class performers vying for the number 1 jersey. Early in the day, the Costa Rican praised his teammates and said he would have the opportunity to learn from 2 of the best goalkeepers in the world, but was willing to battle for a starting spot. Fellow new signings Colombian forward James Rodriguez and German World Cup winner Toni Kroos joined up with the squad. Forward and World Player of the Year Cristiano Ronaldo, who is recovering from a knee injury, was awarded with a round of applause by his teammates as he stepped into Valdebede's training pitch. Real Madrid's first official match of the season will be the Super Cup against Europa League winners Sevilla, which takes place in Cardiff on the 12th of August.
And on that note, we conclude this edition of Lunchtime News. It was an absolute pleasure having you with us. With the Newsfirst team, I'm Katharina Chang. Have a lovely day ahead.